Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I don't know for how long I've waited to create a YouTube channel. This is my first ever video and I am going to be reviewing, actually kind of sharing top 13 things that I've learned from this book. So I've recently started reading and I just want to document what I've learned and maybe share it with a few people. That would be great. So let's dive in. So the first point I want to talk about is copying or emulating heroes. When we copy or emulate heroes, we can tap into a tremendous source of power. Copying or emulating heroes is a true power of learning. So follow what Warren Buffett has to say about investing. Read about his points of view of the market and how he chooses stocks. Read about Donald Trump and how he negotiates and puts a deal together. And when you're in the market trying to negotiate a deal, think with the bravado of Donald Trump. And when you're analyzing a trend, think what Warren Buffett would do. Heroes do much more than simply inspire us. They make it look easy, and we feel that even we can do it if they can do it. When it comes to investing, a lot of people make it look very hard. So, find heroes who make it look easy and start investing. Always refer to yourself as rich. Poor Dad always said things like, I can never be rich, and that became his reality. The rich dad, on the other hand, would say things like, I'm a rich man and a rich man would never do this. Even when he was flat broke and in financial setback, he would cover himself by saying, there is a difference between being poor and being broke. Broke is temporary and poor is eternal. Never say I can't afford it. Poor dad had a habit of saying I can't afford it, whereas rich dad forbade the use of those words. He insisted to ask, how can I afford it? One is a statement and the other is a question. One lets you off the hook and the other forces you to think. When you automatically say the words I can't afford it, your brain stops working. But when you say how can I afford it, your brain is put to work. Saying I can't afford it is a sign of mental laziness. So the next time you find yourself saying I can't afford it, force yourself to think how can I afford it instead. There is a vast difference between working for money and having money work for you. In the book, both the rich dad and the poor dad had tremendous respect for education and learning, but they disagreed on what was important to learn. Poor dad suggested to study hard, get a degree, get a job, and earn money. He suggested him to become a professional, an attorney, or an accountant, to go to business school and get an MBA. The other encouraged him to study to be rich. He wanted him to understand how money works and how to make it work for him. He would always say, I don't work for money, money works for me. There is also a difference between literacy and financial literacy. Money is a form of power, but what is even more powerful is financial education. Money comes and goes, but if you have the education of how money works, you can gain power over it and begin to build wealth. Now, what is wealth? Wealth is basically a person's ability to survive a number of days without working. So if you think money is going to solve your problems, you are in for a tough ride. Intelligence solves problems and creates money. Money without financial intelligence is money gone soon. So if you want to be rich, you need to be financially literate. The author emphasizes the importance of working for free. Keep working, but the sooner you forget the need of a paycheck, the easier your adult life will be. Keep using your brain and working for free, and soon your mind will show you ways of making money far beyond what your employer or boss could ever pay you. Instead, young people should seek work to learn and not for what we will earn. Because we come with a clean slate and it's easier to teach a puppy new tricks than an old dog. I've never met anyone who really likes to lose money. And in all my years, I've never met a rich person who hasn't lost money. But I've met so many poor people who have never lost a single dime investing. So, the solution to this phobia of losing money is to start early. If you hate risk and worry, start early. If you start young, it's easier to be rich. There is a staggering difference between a person who starts investing in his 20s versus 30s. Rich dad thought it is best to go broke before 30s because you still have time to recover. There are so many successful people and they have so many employees, but nobody goes to them and asks them how they did it. Ask them what they know about money. All they ask for is a paycheck and a job, and that's all they get. They spend the best years of their life working for money, not understanding what it is really that they're working for. Even their friends or family who have no money go to them to ask for one or two things, which is a job or a loan. But they never really ask them how they did what they did. So, when you find someone who's doing what you want to do, go to them and ask them tips and tricks of the trade, and not only for a job. You know, when you go to a bookstore and you pick up a book, it says best selling, not best writing. Financial intelligence is a synergy of accounting, investing, marketing, and law. Combine these 4 technical skills, and making money with money is easier than most people would ever believe. When it comes to money, the only skill most people know is to work hard. They're only one skill away from great wealth, which is communication. One of the most important specialized skills are sales and marketing. The ability to sell or communicate to another human being, be it a customer, a boss, an employee, or even spouse or child. It's a base skill. Communication skills such as writing, negotiating, speaking are crucial for personal success. Constantly attend classes or buy educational resources to expand your knowledge in these skills. It's falling, the sky is falling. Most of us know the story of the chicken little who ran around the barnyard of impending doom. We all know people who are that way. There's a chicken little inside each of us. Peter Lynch refers to the warnings of the chicken little as noise, which is either created in our head or from outside, from friends, media, family, or co-workers. Most people are poor because when it comes to investing, the world is full of chicken littles yelling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. A savvy investor knows that the seemingly worst times are actually the best times to make money. So when everyone else is afraid to act, they pull the trigger and are rewarded. How to beat laziness? The answer is a little greed. Ask yourself, what's in it for me? What would my life be if I never had to work again? What would my life be if I had all the money I needed? Without that little greed, the desire to have something better, progress is not made. Our world progresses because we all want something better. New inventions are made because we want something better. We go to school, to college, to get a degree because we want something better. So, greed is good. Whenever you find yourself avoiding something you know you should be doing, ask yourself, what's in it for me? Overcoming ignorance. What you know makes you money. What you don't know loses you money. Every time you are ignorant, money is lost. When you're ignorant in a field, start by educating yourself, by finding an expert in that field or a book on that subject. People always find easier to work with people who are below them and not above them. The real skill is to manage and reward people who know more than you in some technical area. Intelligent people hire intelligent people. That is why a company has a board of directors, and so should you. Poor dad believes that your home is your largest investment and greatest asset, whereas rich dad believes that your home is a liability. And if your home is your largest asset, then you're in huge financial trouble. That is why the middle class struggles. Their primary income is through their salary. And as their wages increase, so does their taxes. Their expenses tend to increase in proportion to their increase in the salary. Hence the term rat race. They treat their home as a primary investment instead of investing in income producing assets. Rich people buy luxuries last, whereas poor people and middle class people buy luxuries first. They buy big houses and boats and jewelry to look rich. They look rich, but they just get deeper in debt on credit. The old money people, the long-term rich, they build their asset column first. And then the income generated from their assets buys their luxuries. Whereas the poor and the middle class, they buy their luxuries from their own blood, sweat and inheritance. For example, if you want to buy a Porsche, the easy road would be to call your banker and get a loan. Instead of choosing to focus on your liability column, choose to focus on your asset column. Make it a habit to use your desires to consume, to motivate you and inspire you, to use your financial genius and invest. Too often today, we choose on borrowing money to buy what we want instead of creating money. One is easier in the short term but harder in the long term. It's a bad habit that we as individuals and the nation have gotten into. Remember that the road that is easy often becomes hard, and the hard road often becomes easy. With that, let's end this video here. I hope you guys liked it, and I'm going to be sharing part 2 soon. Let me know what you guys think in the meanwhile. I hope you guys like, share and subscribe though.